want to see a hammered and trashed vehicle have its paint restored to near perfection, and a black colored vehicle for that matter, well, you're going to have to check out this video from the beginning all the way till the end, because I think you're going to be shocked and surprised at what can be done. We're going to show the differences between a one-step polish and a two-step polish. So the one-step typically is a polishing pad and a polish, and a two-step process starts with a cutting pad and a compound and finishes with a polish and a polishing pad or jeweling pad. So we're of course always going to make sure that you guys understand, whether you're a DIYer, an enthusiast, or a professional, it's all about preserving as much clear coat as possible. So that shiny clear top layer on top of the paintwork, there's only a finite amount of that right on the paint, and every time you're doing polishing steps, you're abrading that surface to expose a fresh surface underneath without any swirls, scratches, to increase depth and gloss. By the way, machine polishing is the way to have the biggest increase in measurable gloss compared to even applying waxes or ceramic coatings. Polishing is the way to increase gloss the most. And so you want to preserve as much as possible, because especially in that clear coat, in the top portion, that's where the majority of the UV blockers or UV inhibitors are. So if you polish too often, well, you're going to be potentially compromising that clear coat over time. So you don't want to do that, right? And obviously, once you've polished your vehicle correctly, you shouldn't have to repolish it for a long while, as long as you're using safe washing and drying methods. When you're contacting the paint with your hands or your wash media or your drying towel, so on and so forth, you want to be very careful and use good practices. And we have many videos showing you on this channel how to properly wash your car. Now, to get back to the main topic, we have a crazy vehicle today. It's disgusting, has tons of oxidation, swirls, scratches. It doesn't even look black anymore. It looks kind of grayish to white. That's how hammered it is. And so I've decided to enlist the help of a special collaborator and a friend of mine, Eddie Colon from EC Details. He's a professional detailer from Pocatello, Idaho in the United States. He's also one of the owners of the House of Rags with his partner, Jamie the Cleaner. And so those two guys, fantastic human beings. And I wanted to reach out to Eddie and give him this opportunity to come on my channel. You guys know I love to help smaller channels to grow, the ones who do positive things for the detailing community. And Eddie is definitely one of them. So he's going to show you everything, right? Which polishes, which compounds, which pads, the working speed with the machine, what speeds you're using. He's going to show you dual action versus a rotary, all that kind of stuff. So you guys can kind of see the process, understand how things can work, and you're going to see the results, what you get of a one-step, what you get through a two-step, and also managing expectations. If you're a professional from your customer, depending on their budget, their needs, you got to manage those expectations. And if you're a DIY or an enthusiast, you're going to be able to make a more informed decision on which steps you should take to take care of your own paintwork, right? So it's going to be a very, very fun one. So again, stay tuned. Also, I'll leave any links to products, tools, and equipment that you see in this video. I'll drop the links in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And also support Eddie. I'll leave his channel, so EC Details on YouTube and also the House of Rags. I'll leave those linked in the description. Show him the love from Pan the Organizer. Go follow those channels. Give him some support. Eddie's been tremendous in the industry. He's also known to be a very good tester of products. Many brands reach out to him. He's one of the testers of Clean by Pan the Organizer products. He's on the testing team, because I don't want to do everything on my own. I want to have opinions from other detailing professionals and DIYers as well when I develop products. They work in different conditions, different countries, different environments, so it's always good to have that feedback. He's very thorough in the way he tests stuff, and you're going to see in this video as well. I met him in person, although we've been friends for years. Met him for the first time in person in September of 2024 at his house in Pocatello. We filmed a bunch of content, and I saw firsthand how this man can polish a vehicle, and let me tell you, it's something to behold. He definitely knows what he's doing. Some methods are not always the orthodox methods, as we call them, or the traditional methods, and it's pretty cool. So I am, as you know, very obsessed on this channel with chasing perfection, because the majority of the vehicles you see in the videos are from customers, and so obviously they have a budget, they have certain expectations, and I like to surpass those expectations. But it's not always the case for everyone, right? Again, depending on your budget, depending on the state of your vehicle, all that kind of stuff, and what you're looking for. You're going to see how knowledgeable he is. And one thing I ask from him is make sure you give cool information for my viewers out there watching. So guys, without further ado, Eddie, take it away.
Hey Ben, appreciate you for having me on your channel. My name is Eddie Colon. I'm with EC Details. I want to walk you through my process of paint correcting. Now, two questions I kind of want to answer in this video is, when do I do a two-step and when do I stop? So that when do I stop is super important. I want to walk you through the car that we're working on. This car came into me super hammered. Probably one of the most hammered paints I've seen in a long time in the shop. And we do a lot of paint correction here. The car is gnarly. It has traffic film, it has salt. It looks like it hasn't been washed in months. It has cat paws, like they're in the woods on the hood. So how I got the car prepped for this step was this way. I used a citrus soak, so I went around the panel, I pre-soaked it with citrus. I came in and I used decon foam from Detail Co. I foamed it right on top, let it sit for about 5 minutes, sprayed that off, and I came in finalized step with clean shampoo, foamed it on, did my contact wash. In between, I did the clay mitt and did my decon step there. You're like, Eddie, where's the iron removing? Well, where I lived at in Idaho, we don't get a lot of fallout. I did a test spot in the back off video to see if I was gonna waste chemicals or not, and we're good to go without it. So now we're here, we're to this step. So make sure that you prep your car, get it as clean as possible before you get into the step. I wanna walk you through the second part of this is make sure you have enough paint to deal with. So the first step for me is finding out how much paint I have to deal with or how much paint I have on the car. And how I do this is simple. There's two ways. This is how I learned to do it. And this is how I've been doing it for a long time. I take my gauge, I go to the door jamb, I measure there. That one's gonna be the thinnest out of the whole car because they don't spray it like they do a clear coat outside. Then I do two spots. I do the middle of the hood, I do the side of the hood, usually 3.4, 3.3, I'm good to go, I'm not worried. Anything below that, you have to be super careful not to go over. And this is where that first question that I'm gonna answer is, when is it enough? There's a lot of people argue, but for me, enough is this. What did your customer pay for? How much paint do you have to deal with? And why are you chasing perfection? You wanna chase preservation. So when you're starting to cut paint for anybody, especially for a customer, make sure you preserve the paint and only do enough to get them what they paid for, but also educate your customer that doing anything over that or below it or whatever could be harmful for their paint. That's the educational piece. So when is it enough? Use common sense, because you burn paint, it's gonna cost you money. Insurance doesn't cover stupid, trust me, I've been there. But that's when it enough. I'm gonna show you on this paint itself how I tackle it. With the information I have, and how to do a two-step correction, a one-step correction with both the Rotary and the DA, but also to show you how much we could get in terms of a paint correction with just one pad, one polish. Now what we're using today in this video is Clean My Pan, and then I'm gonna use his pad on a Rotary. I'm using the 6-inch version here. 6-inch version for my Rotary. I have a Flex Rotary Coolers tool. And then I'm gonna finish down with the DA with the same, with this. But then I'm also gonna show you in this video how to do it all with just one tool with the DA. We'll go over those processes. I'll show you a one-step first. I'll show you a two-step with the DA, and I'll show you a two-step with the Rotary, and we'll show you how we got this paint looking. Let's get started. So I wanna show you with the lights on how bad that paint is. We're gonna put more tape here. We're gonna do a one-step here. Then I'm gonna show you the two-step in the back with the DA. And then we're gonna show you this side, where this side itself, you can see here how gnarly that paint is. I wanted to talk compounds for a second with you, especially when you're starting new. Like, let's talk about this. There is a compound that could be pad dependent, and that'll be Clean My Pan. There's other ones you could use 3D, just PNS. You know, there's a lot of pad dependent compounds out there. Endgame, and then you have ones dedicated to heavy cut. Heavy cut usually gives you a little more abrasion, cutting power, and it causes some dusting depending on what you use. So understand compounds and compound chemistry with pads. It's gonna be one of the biggest things you do in your detailing business, especially, or detailing in general, because you'll have a heavy cut, but then you'll ask yourself, so when do I use this versus can I just use this? In many cases, I would say 85 to 90% cases, you could just use one pad, one compound to do the majority of the car and get great result, right? Sometimes you have to bring the heavy guns out with a thicker wool pad with the Rotary to chew through dead clear coat, to chew through some of the deeper scratches. And that's where that question comes up again, is when is it enough? So I want to show you an example here. I got the car prepped. I showed you the paint gauge. I showed you where we're at with paint. I'm going to show you what Clean by Paint could do. And again, use any one step for yourself. We're going to do that with the blueberry pad. So we're going to use Clean by Paint, blueberry pad, and this is the smaller hammer, right? Smaller hammer. That means let's see how much we could get. And is this good enough to keep moving? And then I'm going to show you how to do a two-step with a rotary and with a DA. And I'm going to show you how to do it with a DA proper on the edge of the car. Let's go here. Once you're here, just put it, make sure you lay it on a freaking pad here. Don't be that guy. Have my pad, my compound. Looks like graying. Graying usually has to do with a lot of touchless washes, or they're going through tunnel washes, some clear coat failure here. This is what the paint looks like. There's some etching going on here from what looks like tree soot or some tree sap, but this is the condition of the paint. All right. I always do two sprays, right? They like do one, I always do two. You do what you want. That's how I work. And I'm gonna keep this here. Why is he stopping a lot? There's a difference between correcting speed in the polisher. So I usually stay between a 4 and 5. Hand pressure is like I'm gonna shake hands for an interview. Passes, I tend to go a little quicker with my passes, especially with pans compound, but that's how we're doing it here so you understand. It's going to be pressure down. It's going to be speed 3 or 4. And we're going to cut. And then I'll go in and I'll do 2 or 3 passes. So a pass for me is left and right, up and down. Now I could do a mow down technique where I grab the polisher and I'm just coming back and forth just to clean up that paint. Right? You can mow it down. And then you'll come in and wipe. And then we'll check to see how good a one step really did on this car. And so far, the majority of the people in the world would appreciate that. Let me get you in here so you can see. It didn't get everything out. It got freaking a lot of it out, right? You still see some deeper scratches. There's no heat on the paint, so the paint swelling is at a minimal. You're always going to swell paint when you do a correction. Now, what's that look like relative to this here? You can see, right? Huge improvement, huge. It is a one step. To me, a lot of customers are going to come in and be like, that's good enough. Especially in a car like this where there's fading happening, that would suffice. That'll be good enough. Move on to the rest of the car. I'm going to show you how to do a 2-step with a DA. Get yourself a pad, a cutting pad. It could be one of these. It could be a visor pad. It could be another wool pad. I like the low nap from the clean one because the low nap itself, if you look here, it doesn't get too squishy, but it also has the little no fibers. 2-step generally means that I'm going to go in with a heavy cut or a wool pad. It's going to cause a little marring, a little light wool cut scratches is what we call it, and then you'll need to finish it down. So that's what a 2-step means. You take a pad, an aggressive pad, aggressive compound, and go in, take a polishing or a finishing pad, finishing compound, finish it out, and you'll get tremendous paint. But let's see if a 2-step really gives me more results with the DA. Let's get started. All right, so we're gonna do a 2-step here. We're gonna use a wool pad. Generally, I like to prime my pad. 2 aggressive steps with the compound. And again, we're just gonna go in here. Same kind of pressure. Now, with the DA, you're gonna get a little more heat than I like, but I wanna show you that step, how much that really did clean up with the wool pad on here. And you can see the hazing, you can see all of that here. Look, it actually did a better job than that one-step pad with this combo so far, right? I'm gonna finish cutting the rest of it so you can see it here, but I wanna show you that again. You can see how much of it actually got cut, but there's hazing in the paint. So that's that cleanup step that we're gonna do for the second step. Let me finish it out with this. We'll be good to go. From here to here. And you can see a tremendous improvement. It cleaned up the paint a lot. The paint here looks a lot better, a lot more clarity. But you can see all the scuff marks, all the scratches here. And here, where it had a lot of it before, you don't see any of that. So that is step one. Step two is clean up the paint. How you clean up the paint is just switching the pad out. A couple ways of doing this. You can use a one-step pad. You can use Pan's foam pad. We're gonna grab his foam pad and we're gonna finish that out. All right, second step, foam. Clean by Pan's foam is a waffle. You can use any finishing pad. What I like about this pad itself, it's a lot more like pliable, softer. You can see it, it's got waffle patterns. This is gonna be my finishing step. And then I'm gonna show you the before and after on the other side and this side. Same thing you wanna do with any sprayable compound. I always do 2 sprays because that's how I roll. Speed 3. I don't want to go over that because, again, I'm trying to jewel paint, or 3.5 or 2.5. No pressure. And take your time on this step. That's it. That's it. We are going to wipe, easy wipe off. And I want to show you what a 2-step looks like versus a 1-step in this clip. This is the difference between a 1-step, and you can see still there's a lot of damage, a lot of swirls. And this is the 2-step. Significant cleanup. Looks amazing. You can clearly see that the 1-step didn't take out those deeper scratches where this one did. And that is why you would do a 2-step. And we showed you step 1. The reason I want to show you how to do it with the DA first is to show you that you don't need to do it with the Rotary. You can still get phenomenal results with a DA doing a 2-step. Again, wool pad, the pressure you want to kind of imitate is you're going to shake my hand, and you do that to get the cut step. When you're finishing it, release that pressure like you're going to shake your wife's girlfriend's hand, whomever in your life, and you're like, hey girl, soft, and let it work, and then let it get to the point where it's jeweling the paint for you. My preferred way is the Rotary. So I love cutting with the Rotary. I know a lot of you are probably thinking like, dang, Rotary's freaking hard. Why would you do that if you have a DA? I like the speed of the cut with the Rotary. I like the less heat the Rotary gives me. And I usually stay, when I'm in my cutting stage, I stay with a 3 or I go 3.5, nothing over that. Even with my actual quarter Rotary, I stay at a 3. That is enough to get the paint corrected for me to come in and finish with a DA to get what I want out of it. So I'm going to show you how to do it with a Rotary 2-step, super easy. The pad, you can use the same pad that I was using before. We're going to do a clean by Pan pad. You can use the same compound. Again, if the car needs it and I need to go to a more aggressive compound, I would just up it and change the pad out and use that compound, and then come in and finish with the DA. And again, this is my preferred method of doing it. I've been doing this like this for a long time. I actually enjoy cutting with the Rotary. Time is about the same, in my opinion, if you're gonna do a 2-step. I even love finishing with the Rotary, so shout out to Ivan. You can finish down with the Rotary, especially if the Rotary has 600 RPMs or less on the Rotary. This one does 550. Let me get this on my pad correctly. Let's get rolling. So lest you forget the condition of the paint, let me show you this. Hammered, right? Hammer time. So I'm gonna do it with the Rotary first. I am going to use my Flex Rotary. I'm gonna use, like I said, you wanna start off at speed 3. I don't go anywhere over speed 3 unless you're gonna do a boat, because bro, do what you want, that's high. Fans gonna be like, what's this guy doing? Oh my gosh. All right, let's go over here. You could dab this out, but since there's not a lot of compound on it, I want to give you I want to give you a couple tips. If you feel the Rotary doing this, lift it a tiny bit and finish it. Okay. If you feel it shaking, either the pad's dry, and at that point in time you add more compound, or you can lift it to get more cut. That's what people get nervous about, is it's skipping all over the place. It's gonna skip because there's a lot of dead paint on here, or a lot of dead clear coat. Just throwing that up there. I come in. You want to keep the pad dry. See, that started skipping. So when it starts skipping, I start coming in and I start lifting it. And you just want to lift it a little bit just to guide it. Don't be scared of it. Be careful with your edges. And typically you will go in flat the whole time. Now, this is the beautiful part. You wipe this. So this is where we're at. We cut it. We did 2 or 3 passes. Rotary is going to introduce hologram marks. And if you do it right, you should have hologram marks all over. That's that damage the wool pad does when you're cutting with a Rotary. But if you look here, and I point you down a little bit, I got all the scratches out. All the scratches out. Now I'm going to finish this out. Those, of course, are rock chips. Those are not going to come out. But all the deep scratches I got out with 2 or 3 passes and the compound. So now, how do I take these out? That's the question I'm going to answer here. Is you have to do a one step now. So what I mean by that is you're going to grab, always blow your pads out. 1 step pad here because of those marks. This is what's going to take to get it out. I go in, and then I'll show you this section here. Now let's look at the finish. Glorious. Absolutely insane, the results. Took out all of the hologram marks. Look at the paint. Look how good that paint looks here. Took out almost, I would say 90. That is with a Rotary and a DA two-step. I'll show you the images of the hood before and after, but we nailed this. Now, the cool thing about this is I'm gonna take the tape off, and after I finish this section, we'll show you what they all look like. With the Rotary, took almost 99% off, took it all off. This is the one step. You can see how much the one step left on the paint. It's a contrast between this and this. This and that. And then this is the DA. And you can see that the DA still left some scratches, but a significant improvement over this. You see? The two-step with the DA. Here you go. So in this video, I just wanted to show you when and when to stop. So when to chase for a two-step, when to stop, and I hope you learned that in this video. I also wanted to show you my process of how I gauge paint, how I cut paint, how I do it with the Rotary, and do it with the DA, and what a one-step looks like compared to a two-step and the value in that. I want to end with this. If you're doing this for a customer's car, do not chase perfection to make your name as the best in your city. Make sure you take care of the customer. End of the day, two-step on this paint will be detrimental. You saw the paint gauge at 3.48. If I test the paint again, it'll probably be a micron, 3.1, 3.18. You're cutting clear coat essentially, right? You're cutting to perfect. You want to preserve. So preserve the clear coat of your customer or your paint. Do what's right for you and stop when you need to stop. But if you need to hammer a hood that is like this, you could do it simply with this compound with his pads, or you could do it with whatever compound you want. But just take your time. Don't chase perfection, right? Chase preservation. Thank you, Pan, again for having me on your channel. I appreciate you. I'm going to show you the rest of the car as I finished it. You can see how I got it to look glossy, no ceramic coating added. We're just going to do a 1 year on this, but you can see how much I improved the paint just for using this and Pan's pads. Pan, back to you. Everyone, have a good day. We're out.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. It was awesome. Eddie, thank you. I'll leave the links to the EC Details YouTube channel and the House of Rags YouTube channel in the description for you guys to check him out. Show him the Pandy Organizer love and support. And also any of the links to the tools, products, and equipment, I'll drop those as well in the description for you guys to check them out. Is there any other collaboration? So another YouTuber or content creator that you'd want me to have as a special guest on my channel and perhaps help them reach a larger audience? Let me know. Drop a comment in the comment section. Who else would you love to see? I always love to support those who are doing positive things for the detailing community, as you know. And in the meantime, guys, don't forget, keep it tight, keep it clean, and I'll see you all on the next one.